Oh yeah.
Actually, I've switched it up. I've switched it up recently, Brandon. Now I play Bowser Jr. in the Mercedes GLA.
Okay, I don't do that. I play either Bowser. I've switched it up from my usual Baby Daisy. I either play Baby Daisy as the main, Donkey Kong, or Bowser Jr. and all on the same cart because I'm not. Or well,
what cart?
Baby Daisy and Bowser Jr. in the same cart. I don't know what it's called. It's the one that looks like a Formula One car.
Ooh. I know what you're talking. Wait, no, it's not like an F-Zero thing. No, it's the Blue Falcon, right?
No, I don't use the Blue Falcon.
Oh, that's in the Wii.
One. Yeah, no, I mean it's in Blue Falcon is in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Is it?
Yes, 100%. It's what I used to use.
Huh?
But now I use.
I don't even remember that.
I don't know. I don't know what it's called, but it's one that looks like an F1 car. And then for Donkey Kong, I use the little beetle one, like the beetle enemy from like 3D World. Dude, that's a sick combination. Your speed goes nutty on that.
Yeah, it's tiny guy, big monkey.
We're not. Well, this is the conclusion that we've come to, though. We're not gamers, but you want to know what we are?
Not gamers. What? What are we?
Limitless Parkcast, everybody.
We're the Limitless Parkcast.
To Limitless Parkcast, episode 5. I think this is 5.
This is 5. Are you doing
it? Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Welcome everybody to the Limitless Parkcast. As I just said, this is episode 5. We are back after episode 4 of our spooky Halloween episode. Or our haunted other episode. But this one's also a spooky Halloween episode, I guess. I mean, Andrew came up with the concept for this one, so that's spooky in itself.
Damn.
Yeah.
Got me.
Who knows? Alrighty. I guess we have a little bit of news that I guess we could start off with.
Is this really the intro? Are we? You forgot my name. You forgot your name.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, I'm Brandon. And hey, this is my co-host Andrew.
Oh, I thought you were doing me and I was doing you.
Oh, wait, is that what we should do? Like, okay, I see what you're saying. Hey, I'm Brandon.
Well, that's when you No, this isn't happening. Okay.
Yeah,
we
do have some news. We have a little bit of news and I don't want to dwell on it too much because as you can see under our little cold open note, I have episode releasing on Halloween because I figured the concept of what we're about to do, I want to put together a visual with after we're done with it. Mm-hmm. So I want to take a little bit of time to do that and put it in the show notes. And because of that, I think, and just because it's the final of the 3 scary Halloween spooky episodes, I think that putting it on Halloween makes sense. Beginning of the week, some way to start your week off, yet at the same time, end the Halloween celebration. I think that's when we'll put it out. So I don't want to dwell on the news too much because by the time it comes out, it will be a couple days old. But there's some interesting stuff here. You see it? You clicking on it?
I am clicking on it. That's what I'm doing right now.
Sick. Yeah.
What do you want to start with?
Well, so I think it's 2 groups. I think there's one, the whole
there's the coaster stuff, and then the things that I actually want to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll cruise over these coaster things real quickly. We'll be super swift about it. Basically, IAAPA Expo is coming up in a few weeks. I think it's like November 17th. That date's probably wrong, but I think it's sometime in the middle of November. It's, the big expo where a bunch of leading attraction and industry leaders and a bunch of people get together and showcase all sorts of things, different, innovations in the amusement industry. And I feel like every year we get a lot of, concepts and news from different companies in the weeks leading up to it. And that's really happening this week. These are just some of the things that I've seen that came out. But like literally today we got like a new Intamin launch concept, which is essentially a vertical launch. Soren and Kyle or somebody was actually I think it was Soren was talking about it in the group chat. And somebody said that it could be used for Top Thrill Dragster to do like a vertical LSM launch where it, launches up on the track. And I think that's possible. But I do think you know, like the feeling of like in mission space where the G's just like push you. Did you watch the video of this like LSM launch or no?
Wait, was it sent in the group chat?
It might have been. I think somebody sent a post, but also it's in the show notes.
Honestly, don't think I did.
Okay, well, essentially what it is, it's a launch.
Maybe I did, but
what it is, it's a launch that's like regular, and then all of a sudden it goes vertical. Like it's a launch that goes up a vertical piece of track.
That's already a thing, though. I mean, I guess they do it more of a gradual slope, but
for what?
Why would you do that?
I don't know. It is a thing apparently at this one that park called Lagoon in Utah. There's a ride there called Wicked that has a vertical launch, but for the most part, it's mostly just Wicked.
Sorry.
Was that Anakin Skywalker? No, that's Wizard.
It was that and the Twitch emote that is Wicked. I don't really know much about Twitch emotes, but I know that it's the one with the frog, like the Pepe frog, but with these like sunglasses that are like they're like the ugly Oakley. Andrew Brandenburg, if he listens to this, will get mad at me for saying this, but they're like those ugly like sports baseball glasses. That's Wicked. Look it up.
Yeah, you just offended him big time.
Yep.
Yeah, so anyways, it launches upwards. I just think that's going to be way too intense for me, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of coaster enthusiasts out there that want to feel that sensation because they're masochists. So that's cool.
And then I'm seeing this now. What this is. Yeah, it's a launch into it. Why would you do that? I think I've already said that, but why?
It's going to be cool. Don't get me wrong. It's just like got to be like super intense. They literally show like a CGI thing of a rocket taking off. It's like that's what it's supposed to simulate. Like my body can't handle that, but maybe I'm just weak sauce. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe. My only idea for why it would be good for people is if people are scared of heights, which is, this is going to sound weird, but it's like with a regular launch coaster, it's like you'll launch and you might go into like a hill and you'll go over it. But with this, you can still get the fun of like a drop with height, but having the lift hill be a launch that takes like no time so that people aren't like wasting or aren't like getting scared on the lift hill. But I feel like it'll be so intense that those people wouldn't want to go on it anyways. So
yeah, I don't know. That is a good point though. It maybe makes it a little more accessible for people who are afraid of heights. So that could be nice. I don't know. That's a good point. And then there's this Mauer Rides. Moving on to the next thing. Mauer Rides is like, I'm trying to think of a coaster you might know. I could be wrong about this, but I think they built Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket. So, that's fine, I guess. But they're really pushing this spike coaster model within like the past year, especially. It's that one did you hear about that cruise ship that has like a roller coaster on it? It was the first cruise ship with a coaster.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the type of coaster that it is. And they're just like, I feel like because, I don't know why, because I haven't seen like one be built outside of that. I'm sure there are, but they're just really pushing it. They're just like model after model after model. I think a while back, like maybe a year ago at this point, I posted one that they had on the Instagram. This new one is the Spike Omega. And if you find the video that I put in the show notes for that, it's just like this crazy thing that like, it shoots up and then goes around and like I'll either post a video.
What the heck?
It's like
when they show all their layouts, it's just like but no, okay, yeah, that's weird.
And it's like kind of powered, but it like goes up into an inversion. It's like kind of like a circle. It resembles the like Omega symbol. So I don't know. That's cool, and I'm sure that'll be showcased there. It's just, it would be nice to see if a park picks that type of thing up. Cause like I said, they've put out quite a few of these types of models for the spike coaster and I haven't seen it. I
think that the cars are definitely the most interesting part of it. Or like the trains. Yeah. Cause like the seats like go back. They kind of shift a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. That's an interesting thing for sensation wise, but I wonder if that's, cause I haven't looked into it, but I wonder if that's like programmed in or if that's with the G's. And if it's with the G's, I think that could be a nasty combination, but if it's programmed, that could be cool.
Yeah, if it's programmed, that would probably be a little bit more comfortable. I will say if it's like an airtime, I think that's negative G's. I don't know how G-force works, but I think it's negative. And like the extra pop of it's like the surf coaster, which we haven't talked about that on here either. But SeaWorld and the surf coaster, you probably saw.
Yeah.
Like it's like the standing thing, but it pops you out of your seat a little bit more. Extra airtime. I could always go for some extra airtime. That's just how I'm built.
Sure.
Finally, we have this weird teaser from Premier Rides. They made rides like, you haven't ridden Flight of Fear. You haven't ridden, Joker's Jinx. Joker's Jinx at Six Flags America?
Something wild is coming.
Yeah, something wild's coming. The reason because this is like super vague, and there's two reasons I included that on here. One, it's because they said they're planning on revealing something at IAAPA. Like it's literally 25 days, they said, and they're showing something off. And then two, this is super big speculation, but everybody in the comments of that post that they said is saying like, maybe this has something to do with Hershey Park's Wildcat, which is a wooden coaster that was closed after this year, I believe. And everybody was thinking that was probably going to get RMC'd, but there's like this scratch marks, and there's some sort of it looks like wood. It looks like wood in the back.
Marks.
So people are like, oh, does it have something to do with Wildcat? Maybe Premier is going to have some version of like RMC, because Intamin already did that with like the Raptor. So it's not that far out. It
was like Premier isn't a wooden coaster thing.
They might have a few, but generally speaking,
not heavily.
Yeah. So I don't know. It might have nothing to do with that, but I think that's a decent prediction. I would just love to see what if it's like RMC, if it's something completely different. I would love, it would be funny if they just instead of the RMC where they kind of mold track to it, they have two rails, but generally speaking, it's, a little bit of added structure and then the remaining structure. What if they just kept the structure sort of, but then literally just took out the track and built a steel track? It's just a steel track, but it's with its own steel supports.
Your supports would not work like that, but
it would build its own supports, or they would just have it.
They would have to
the
take out. They would build they would have to. That would be so complicated.
Yeah, it would. It would be stupid, but I think it'd be funny. It's like Premier. Hey, look what we can do. We can do RMC too. building an entire coaster.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's that. That's the stuff you don't care about, and
I was gonna say the best thing about our news segments, as far as this stuff goes, is it is Anders actually knows some stuff and is kind of interested, and I'm also interested. But this is my first raw reaction to literally everything, and this is my when I said the something wild is coming, that was legitimately just me reading it. I wasn't saying, oh, this is the thing. I was just something wild is coming.
You were just processing it. Nice.
Yep, exactly.
All right.
Great news segment.
Yeah. Well,
you gotta get the people outside of the sphere to
exactly. We gotta be accessible.
I'm an audience surrogate,
Yeah, exactly. Okay, this last piece of news is something that you probably care about a little bit, but it was just from my knowledge just announced today. Did you hear about this before I put
saw
it on
some
here?
Other people that I do follow posting about Tokyo Disney land and but I didn't know exactly why they were doing it, but this might have been why.
Okay. Yeah. So Fantasy Springs opening date, spring 2024.
Yeah. I mean, it's still far away, but God, if I'm not excited, I mean, even as a person that's I'm not oh yeah, I have plans to go to Tokyo Disneyland right when this, but regardless, as a Disney fan, it just looks amazing and I'm very excited for it.
All the new concept art they released looks fantastic. Do you want to read the names out?
Yeah. So
lands?
First, the Frozen land is Frozen Kingdom, and all of this will be this in English, but also is this in Japanese. So I don't know the word for Frozen or Kingdom in Japanese, but I am learning katakana, and I'm gonna keep going with that.
Isn't that a sword? Katana?
No, that's a katana.
Yeah.
No, the katakana.
Isn't that a Mortal Kombat character?
Yes, it's one of the 3 written Japanese. They're forms of written Japanese. I don't know. But
Nice.
Frozen Kingdom for the little Frozen section. It's going to have both like Rapunzel or not Rapunzel. Oh my God. Elsa's ice castle plus the little kingdom of Arendelle. And yeah, I mean, we there's other stuff that is known about it, but I don't think we need to get into it. But I don't mind the name Frozen Kingdom, especially because it's a mini land within Fantasy Springs. If it was just Frozen Kingdom within the Park of Tokyo Disney Sea, I would be like, well, no, okay. If it was Frozen Kingdom within any park other than Tokyo Disney Sea, but because it is within Tokyo Disney Sea, and these are all supposed to be ports of call in a sense of like, they're like different areas. And it's like, I think that this is actually a pretty good name for it, because they're not going to be like Disney's Frozen Land or like the Kingdom of Arendelle. Like they could do the Kingdom of Arendelle, but Frozen Kingdom, it juxtaposes the two together into a better thing.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I personally would have preferred that they just called it Arendelle. I think Frozen Kingdom is a fine name, but it feels a little bit generic, and it's just like, you're already in a land. Like, is there going to be another sign to the land that says Frozen Kingdom? I don't know.
So my aspect of it is for marketing aspect. And this Tokyo Disneyland is actually, because Japan in general, although they have a lot of inward tourism or just like internal tourism, it is a big like international draw for China and like Korea and like Thailand and stuff like that. It has a large pull of international audiences. And so it's like, yes, English is like they will use English in their signage and everything because it is understood by a larger amount of people. But it's like for Japanese stuff, it's like if they will, for people that don't speak Japanese and speak a little bit of English, seeing the word frozen there will get them better to better understand that there is a frozen land than Arendelle.
But then just call it Arendelle World of Frozen. Like, do the subtitle thing.
That's too complicated. For an international audience that English is not their first language, and then they also don't speak the first language of the park that, or of the country that the park is within. They need to keep it simplistic.
You don't think that
is like
on
an
the
actual
sign
like yes, and there it's Frozen Kingdom, and it's also in the way of
what is like Hong Kong's being called? Isn't it like?
I would assume it has the word frozen in it, and it will be a smaller like thing. It will be a short
world of Frozen. Okay.
Yeah, and it's, you have to take into account that it's not like you can do this long, like you can't do Kingdom of Arendelle or just even Arendelle World of Frozen or Kingdom of Arendelle Frozen. It's like Frozen Kingdom. It speaks more generally to the point of it's frozen and it's a kingdom. There you go. That's your thing. And it's like, yes, that seems simplistic, but so it also is, I guess, an easier explanation to all audiences of what it is.
So you're making good points, and I understand what you're saying as far as like the logistical aspect of why they are choosing it that way. That makes a lot of sense from the language. I just think this is my American point of view, but like, and I guess, it's not in my, US park, so it doesn't really affect me. But like, I think it's a bit generic of a name. I think World of Frozen, now that I'm seeing that too, is a bit generic. I just think that in this park that also has like other things like that, where it's like, I think that generally speaking, there's some pretty specific names of lands in Tokyo Disney Sea. I'm looking it up now.
I'm going to look that up to contest you on that, because I don't think that's true. Okay, like Mysterious Island, Port Discovery, American Waterfront, Mermaid Lagoon,
it's
Arabian
locations.
Coast.
Well, in Fantasy Springs, but then you have like, I guess this is the first thing to have like kind of the mini lands,
like sublands.
I don't know. It's not that big of a point. I don't know why I'm still talking about it, because it really doesn't bother me that much. Like, I just think it's like just okay. I get the logistics of it, but I don't think it's anything like outstanding. And I think that in a mini land, I think it makes more sense to just, say Arendelle, say like even Rapunzel's forest. That I think contradicts the point of what you're saying a little bit. It would make more sense if you're just trying to reference the name of the movie. Maybe it's like, okay, Rapunzel is like a more recognizable character and name,
that's my point. Is Rapunzel is a story. I mean, not that Frozen isn't inspired by a story, an actual fairy tale, but Rapunzel is an actual fairy tale, and not that is super. I don't know the history of how that tale has been told in Japan and all surrounding Southeastern Asia, but in general, that is a larger known fairy tale, and the tale of Rapunzel. Yeah. And I definitely assuming that they have a different, like a name of like who it is in Japanese. And it's like probably a story with a different person and a different context, but that story in general is understandable. And so they're like, oh, this is the English version of blank. And then they're able to put that into their context. I think that's easier than Tangled, because I wonder what the name of this was in Japan. That's what I'm interested in now.
I don't know. Yeah, but so I don't even think we finished reading the names. There's Frozen Kingdom, Rapunzel's Forest, and Peter Pan's Neverland, which at least it's not Michael Jackson's Neverland. Am I right?
Oh, God.
One, I want to say like the construction of the hotel and everything looks like it's coming along nice too. I would check that video out. I'll put that in the show notes as well. I'll put this whole article in it. But it's coming along really nicely. Sorry. I was just going to say the concept art looks really cool. With especially the Tangled one, I think looks fantastic. I don't really know what happened with the Peter Pan concept art. It looks like a weird children's book. Like it doesn't look like the other concept art.
No, but it looks fine.
It looks fine. It's just like
it just looks more like the other ones look more realistic, and this one looks a lot more cartoony, which that is me assuming that they don't want to give either certain things away or they just want to have it stylized.
Maybe. Because I honestly, so it's like the description for Peter Pan's Neverland reads, Peter Pan's Neverland is, as the name suggests, based on the fictional land of Neverland. Guests will get to explore a pirate ship, dine in a secret hideaway, and visit Pixie Hollow. It offers one restaurant, 2 attractions, and 1 shop. That's just what Blue Loop said on the article. But so I guess that is kind of vague of what the attraction is, because I still don't understand what they are, unless the pirate ship counts as one.
The Pixie Hollow one is like, it's a Tinkerbell themed dark ride attraction, like a slow moving dark ride, more classic kind of thing. Okay. And then the Peter Pan one, we do not know, or we know the ride vehicle. The ride vehicle is a boat, but it's not a boat in the traditional sense of it might not be in water because it doesn't look like it. It is a boat shaped vehicle.
And it's not like Peter Pan's Flight, right?
We don't know. No, we know it's not that. Yeah, no. I mean,
did we ever answer that?
In Tokyo Disneyland.
If it was in Tokyo Disneyland, I think we talked about that before.
Yes, we did, and I think it is. But this is jumping back to what I was saying before.
It is.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
So this is jumping back to the Tangled thing, though. Guess what? This is rough translation. Obviously, of course, through like a translator app. But the Japanese title of Tangled in Japan is Rapunzel on the Tower. So already that's how they know the film. They know it as Rapunzel. And so it being Rapunzel's like forest, that works so much easier for it than that's something that names sense. Need to be taken into context via where they are. And I know I'm not saying that you aren't thinking about that, but it's like when people talk on the internet about being like, this is a bad name. It's like, you need to take into a context of like the adaptability that this needs to have.
Yeah, you're right. And it's like, the names don't really matter that much. Like, and I know that's kind of hypocritical of me just, trying to make the point of it, but like, it's going to be what's in the land. And it's cool that it got an opening day. It's cool that it has some sort of names now, at least for it. Because I will say that I would rather have some sort of names for the separate areas than just Tangled area, Frozen area, and have them be unnamed in Fantasy Springs. I think that's good, and I think the concept art looks really cool. So I just hope that it's Tokyo Disney Sea. Of course, it'll present very nice. It'll be great. So yeah,
very great.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the news, folks.
So I said at the beginning, or Brandon said, this is the last of the spooky episodes. It's the last October episode for us. It's coming out on Halloween. And we wanted to do something, something slightly Halloween themed and spooky like we have been doing. It may or may not have been the same scenario as last time where we had this idea. I had this idea literally today, like right before recording. Hey, so it's
how you got to do it.
Exactly. It's a little haphazardly thrown together, but we're going to have fun with it. Everybody likes a good tier list, I feel like. Generally speaking, I like watching those videos or looking at them. But I don't just want to
seen a tier list be done in like months. Maybe
really?
Maybe we missed the trend.
Maybe we're going to bring it back. We're going to bring the trend back. But I didn't just want to do like attractions or just something like simple or like Halloween events. I want to do something a little more subjective and a little goofier, some room for some funny conversations.
A little goofy.
Exactly.
And and going along with that aspect of the goofiness, Andrew, what is this idea? Because I don't understand
Brandon doesn't
it still.
know. I still haven't really explained it. So the whole concept of a tier list, for those who don't know, it's ranking different things, whatever that be, whether it's football teams or cars or YouTubers. You rank them based on just your enjoyment or whatever foods, whatever you really want to rank it on, from F through S tier. So it's F is the lowest. It's the absolute worst. It's kind of like a grading scale because it goes up from, F. There is an E, but it's F, E, D, C, B, A. And then at the top of that, there's actually an S tier, which is like the best. What are you laughing at?
It's the American grading scale, but with extra steps, because why wouldn't it be?
Exactly. You have F through S, and S is, the best tier. Some people call it the God tier. It's the best things. So I want to do something like that where we're ranking attractions. But because it's Halloween, I was thinking, okay, well, what if we ranked... initially, I was thinking Walt Disney World attractions, but as I was writing it down, there were so many Magic Kingdom
45 attractions.
Yeah. Exactly. So I figured we'd just stick to Magic Kingdom because that's more than enough. But what if we ranked Magic Kingdom attractions from least spooky to most spooky?
I mean, this is the goofiest idea, but I'm starting to realize that this could actually be kind of fun to make points on.
Exactly. Because some of these, it's like, how are you going to make points on the Astro Orbiter? But I
have points.
Yeah, exactly. So generally speaking, this is going to be very subjective. There's probably not going to be like real factual based things for a lot of this.
It's completely subjective.
It's completely subjective, but it's just going to be fun. F is going to be the least spooky. We don't consider it spooky at all. You don't want to ride this if you're at the parks on Halloween or in October at all. Terrible ride for feeling spooky. But Brandon's in the show notes right now typing out least spooky and most spooky so he remembers.
No. I was going to give them all names, but no, I guess I won't.
Yeah, well, S, most spooky. A is, what are we typing? Very spooky. I would agree.
I can't come up with...
Yeah, come on, you got to be fast. Somewhat spooky for me.
No, we're going with spooky.
That is just spooky. I feel like C. Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay, somewhat spooky for C. Spooky was B, by the way, everybody. Somewhat spooky for C. D is not really spooky. Not really that spooky. You guys are getting this real time. As Brandon's fingers are freaking out.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what to do. Okay, F is actually not spooky now.
Yeah, F is not spooky. D is not really that spooky, and we should probably... What about like just barely spooky? Just like just a little... I mean, ... It could be...
Nope, that's... I mean, it could be.
Oh, it could be. I mean, it could be. Is the...
Oh, well...
The E tier.
Yeah. I don't know. It's whatever.
Yeah. That's it could be spooky, but probably not.
I mean, hey man, you have the normal things. It's. Oh wait, that's E.
Yeah, that should be E. So going from bottom to top, F to S, we have not spooky. I mean, it could be, but probably not. We have not really that spooky, somewhat spooky, spooky, very spooky, and in all caps, the most spooky. This is a great thing to do in a podcast, famously audio.
A visual medium.
Yeah, exactly.
That's, I mean, hey, it's what it is.
So I included shows in this list mostly, but I didn't include any like walkthroughs. I don't want to like do the treehouse.
No, this list is fine.
Yeah, it's good.
This is good.
So we'll run through it. We'll go by land.
It's
just naturally listed by land.
I thought you would just go via our list, and I was confused when you said by land, and I was like, wait, we're not going in the order of the list, but that makes sense. Sorry, broski.
It's all good. So just so we keep track of this and don't feel insane, as we talk about it, I'm going to drag them into the correct thing, or you can. I don't really care. The tough part is we're going to have to come to some consensus. So, maybe we'll agree. If we don't, we'll have to, have a little friendly debate and see, if we can't come to some sort of middle ground. And maybe if we can't, maybe we just do whatever's in the middle. But yeah, okay. You get it now? You get it? It's a spooky tier list for Magic Kingdom.
It's not a bad idea. Might be actually kind of fun.
Yeah. And spooky can mean a lot of different things too, guys. I think, in my opinion.
And we'll get into that.
Yeah. We will. With the first ride, which is technically also a form of transportation. It's the only true ride in Main Street. Sorry, Main Street Vehicles fans. I know you like your fire truck, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about the Walt Disney World Railroad, something that Brandon and I haven't ridden in years and years and years because it's somehow always closed whenever we go.
Something that nobody has ridden in years and years and years.
But us even more so. Like, I don't remember riding it since like the 2000s. I think every trip.
Yeah, I mean, I remember riding the Disneyland Railroad in like 2018 or whatever, but or 2016 maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, but nonetheless,
that,
it's a railroad. It goes around. I'm trying to think if there would be any sort of thing to make it somewhat spooky.
Because instantly I went to my mind came the Disneyland one where they have the scene with the dinosaurs, and it's honestly a little spooky.
Yeah, right.
But in comparison to that, this has nothing.
Exactly. So yeah, the dinosaurs do make it. You think it's not spooky?
The only reason I might put it in E is because it is a train, and trains make loud noises.
Ooh, that's true. Noises are definitely
and some people are scared of loud noises, especially high-pitched loud noises that might come out of nowhere because, I mean, you might be on the train, but you also might not be.
It could make some babies or someone with misophonia a little scared, for sure. Yeah. I was going to say the other thing that's a little scary is a little spooky is the cultural appropriation you will find when rounding the bend by Tom Sawyer Island. Do they still have that, or did they remove it?
I don't know.
Did they remove that?
Well, I thought there was like a thing that they might have, but I mean, I know they changed
the Native Americans
stuff with it, because like I knew that it had been like either edited or heavily like
changed.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I don't think anyone knows. I think maybe they were gonna like. Well, I mean, you could still see it on the Liberty Bell if it was that, like, if it was still there, and I haven't heard anyone talk about it. So I feel like it's either, I don't know.
Disney removes the quote unquote Indian camp reference at Peter Pan's flight. So that happened, but I think it's still there.
Yeah. Huh.
So that, which should be removed, but just the sheer, come on Disney part of that, like let's take care of that. And the loud noises. Sir. I think that is enough to land it in the E category of, I mean, it could be, but probably not.
Jungle Cruise.
Jungle Cruise can get pretty scary.
I honestly agree.
If you ride it at night, it's like you're in the jungle, which already, like, ooh. I wouldn't want to be in the jungle at night.
Ooh. I just wouldn't want to be in the jungle.
Yeah, well, it's always night there, right? Because it's so hard to get the light in.
I mean, that's not whatever. I'll just skip over that beat. No, Well, what I was thinking about is if you are running at night, generally, like the skippers actually use like flashlights and everything at night, because the other things aren't lit up, and so it's like, there's the giant snake and everything, and that can spook you out a little bit.
Don't you go through like a temple thing, or is that in Disneyland?
Yes, that's
in World, right?
That's in World. Yeah, that's in World, I think.
Yeah.
God, I don't know.
Oh God, why do we not like? Should know this.
I have
no idea. Let's assume it is, and
let's assume
have everybody tell us that we're wrong.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's pretty freaky, though.
It is. It's kind of spooky.
Is that like, we don't have a kind of spooky, but we have a somewhat spooky? Is that where that goes?
No, honestly, I would put it in spooky.
Really?
Yes, because honestly, I don't know if there will be any that would go that will be in spooky otherwise. Because I think there are ones that I can think of that are very spooky, and ones that I can think of that are somewhat spooky, but not spooky.
Okay.
I'm calling it there.
It's pretty spooky. Yeah, I will. Spooky. It's spooky. Especially like all those like weird animals that don't quite move right now.
Yeah, I mean it's just kind of spooky.
Ancient animatronic design. All right, Magic Carpets of Aladdin. I will say, only ridden this once, and it was the most recent time that you and I were there together, and I think that was also your first time riding it. And you, me, and I think Dad like rode it just because it was like a short line. It was like whatever. Mm-hmm. Hopped on it. Do you remember like how much airtime we were getting? Like if you like shoot it up to the top really quick with the lever, it like kind of bounces. Do you remember that?
Don't remember that. No.
That's like the only redeeming quality of that. It's probably the worst ride at the park.
I am trying so hard in like this. I'm trying to find whether or not it is the one with the temple.
Oh.
And I think it is. I think it is. I don't know. Who knows? Doesn't matter.
I think it is too, but the one thing that's like making me feel otherwise is, do you remember that old like VHS thing that we had from Disneyland that was like a sing-along? And it was all Disneyland stuff? That had the cave in it. And I just feel like they're not exactly the same.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm remembering that wrong, so.
Honestly, don't know. Doesn't matter. We're on to Magic Carpets now.
Exactly. Which, I mean, like what... It's this, I think, counts as a ride, and this is actually the best part of the ride. The camel.
Yes.
Have you ever been jump scared by that camel shooting out water? Like
I have not, but I've had people in front of me, aka you, be.
Yeah.
Or no,
exactly.
Yeah.
It was free. I did, and Jim got shot too by the thing one time. You're on to get a Dole Whip. You're talking with your family. You just chatting a little bit, and all of a sudden, just like a big stream of water on your body, and it's just like
it's fun.
It's fun, but it's spooky. It is. Dare I say, somewhat spooky. But is the rest of the ride spooky enough to get there?
I think more honestly, it goes in not really that spooky.
Yeah.
Because the camel can give you a good jump scare. It can. I'm not saying it can't.
But the
rest of the ride,
no, not really that spooky.
Really. Alrighty, well, it's going to not really that spooky.
Not really.
AKA the D category.
The D.
Okay. What are we on to next?
We're on to Pirates of the Caribbean. Which, like, I mean, this has to be up towards the top, right?
I genuinely think it's in the most spooky.
I
think we'll have like 3 rides in the most spooky, and one of them I'll have to go on a long campaign for. But I think this is one I won't have to, because I think the opening of it is. I think it's generally spooky because it takes.
You
place
were scared of it as a kid, weren't you?
I was terrified of it.
Yeah.
Well, that's because I had like nightmares that made me think the ride was something that it definitely wasn't. Because of things that I was told. Dude, my childhood perception of what that ride is insane, and I hope to one day to be able to explain it to people.
Do a 30-second. Is that? Can you like bundle that up? Because I remember you having issues with. That's a future.
This could be a story for another time. I think we could do an episode on our childhood fears of theme parks.
I got so many scary memories.
Well, exactly.
Because we were things of the Snow White ride. Yeah, exactly.
And I think genuinely, I think that could be saved for another time. But
God, that would have been a much better idea than anything that we've done for Halloween.
Oh no, it really. Just means it's coming further down the line. Exactly. But yeah, so Pirates, it's all in the dark already. The queue is kind of spooky, even though, now I love that queue music. That whatever that woodwind is, it's all I listen to. Exactly.
It's fantastic.
It's great. But then even inside the start of the thing, you have the mermaids singing to you, which are luring you to your death. I mean, that's spooky content. I mean, just in general, you're in a burning town full of people ravaging a town. It's very spooky.
Yeah.
Some might even say the most spooky.
Yeah, I'd say the most spooky, at least in the context of the Magic Kingdom. Like, you're getting into something, like you said, you have the cave, you have the mermaids, the queue's spooky. The shockingly short length is just so spooky when you're like, wait, it's over? Like, and you're not,
that is
crap, I'm not at
the Disney World Pirates problem.
Exactly. All right.
You have all the skeletons too.
Oh my God.
Spooky stuff.
Yeah. Davy
spooky
Jones,
content.
Like the
weird
waterfall. That freaked me out as a kid, for sure. Yeah, it still does, probably. I pee my pants every time.
That'll lead me into my story when we do it.
Exactly.
So next up, after putting that in S tier, the most spooky, because kind of is, we got Tiki Room. What's your thoughts, Andrew? What's your thoughts?
It's been forever since, I don't even know if I've done the Walt Disney World Tiki Room, if we're being honest.
Oh, really?
I think I've just done the land.
I did it literally the last time I was there, so I'm like...
You might have to... I mean, I'm sure it's not super different from the Disneyland one.
No, I mean, it's pretty similar. I love the Tiki Room, but...
It's cute birds singing. Like, the scariest thing I can think of is the clicking. And it's like thunderstorms, maybe?
So
is it like a rainforest
is
cafe?
Kind of creepy. There are thunderstorms like the Rainforest Cafe. They don't happen every 20 minutes, though. They happen, I don't know...
Ooh, we got to plug those videos. We're a little late, but we got to plug those videos at the end. Those are so
no,
good.
They don't need our help. No. Ted Nivison and Eddie Burbank do not need our help. Those are great videos, though. Terrific. They're fantastic.
Terrific videos. Those are some of the best videos I've seen out here. Yeah.
They're fantastic. Yeah. I mean, terrific videos. Fantastic videos. No, but basically, so you got the thunderstorms. You got the clicking. You also got the scene where the tiki gods start happening, and there's like red lighting everywhere, and it's like you angered the tiki. I think is what it is. I think you angered the tiki gods or whatever.
Okay,
and it's the tiki like drummer things are kind of, and the music gets kind of intense, and it's not like the nice birds swinging. They're singing like the let's go tweet with the birdie or whatever that is. It's not pleasant. It's not pleasant.
Mm-mm.
And so quite honestly, I would put it in somewhat spooky. This might be a hot take, but given the factors that I have presented, I think it might just be accurate.
I'll trust your judgment, because like I said, I've only done the Disneyland, and I think a lot of what you just said there gave me the shivers. It gave me the chills a little bit. I was, holding on to my blankie. Scared.
This is really putting me into my performative nature right now when I'm making my pitches. It's great.
Yeah, it's putting me into just my normal state of exaggerating and being dramatic. All right, we've finished Adventureland. We're done. We're out of that, and now we're into Frontierland with Big Thunder Mountain. What?
But with
what
Adventureland,
do you want?
I'm just with Adventureland. We got a pretty good spread. We got one in most spooky, got one in spooky, another one in somewhat spooky, and one in not really that spooky. And that's pretty good spread. They're not jumbled up, and I think that's a good thing for a land to keep in mind. You don't want to be all in one area because you want enough people to be able to enjoy these things.
Exactly. You can't have everything.
I think they need to think about this more. Do they think about this? Does Imagineering think about this?
Like how spooky things are?
Yeah. Probably not. I mean, and they need a specialist.
Exactly.
And I'm going to be that specialist.
You're going to be hired by Imagineering.
Mark my words.
I think I'll put myself down as a reference for you, okay? If you ever are being hired for that.
course.
I'll for sure. Don't worry, I got your back.
Now,
Big Thunder Mountain.
See if that holds up with Frontierland.
Yes.
Okay.
You guys are missing some really good like performance from Brandon.
Oh,
like,
I'm into it.
Yeah, his left eyebrow is raised with every word.
It's different. It's very different than the normal podcast voice that I have.
He's engaged. So, I think we have a winner. I think I made Brandon happy for this episode with this idea.
Maybe.
Big Thunder Mountain. The wildest ride in the wilderness, literally a possessed train. Like, this has to be towards the top, right?
Oh, I think it is.
But I don't think it's most spooky.
No, but I think it's up there. I think it is very spooky. And my main reasons for this being, 1, you got possessed train. 2, you got well, let's start at the start of the ride. You start via going into a cave. That's kind of dark. Yeah. And you go into an area that's a little bit better lit, but you got these creepy little bats going all around, and you have a lot of noise because you have the bats, you have the waterfall, and you also have the most insane loud clicking of a lift hill ever.
That has to be the loudest thing I've ever heard in my life. Like that room I wonder what the decibel of like the noise that is in there, because I'm betting it's over 120, and that means severe damage. Well, I've never ridden it with my Apple Watch before, and I really want to, because the audio thing will always go off like you're in too loud of a room or whatever, and I wonder if that would go off or see it. Yeah, that's whenever I would like be in some sort of like party setting or whatever with this, like. It would always like
maybe
say,
I have that setting turned off because I've never ran into that.
You might. That's why you're deaf.
I mean, no, that's for different reasons. Oh. No. Yeah, so I think that first room, it's loud, it's dark, and it has bats in it. And I think if we know anything about spooky season, it's the bats are involved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of baseball being played. Phillies versus.
That was actually genuinely a great. You got me with that one.
Yeah.
And then otherwise, other than that, you got the head chopper. That's a little
I was
spooky.
gonna say, didn't some guy die? Wasn't that like a long time ago? They had to like retract the whole thing because he died.
No idea about that. I doubt it. But
no, I'm pretty sure.
I think if they died, they probably died from a heart problem that wasn't a manufacturing fault. But. Yeah.
I'm out here spreading false information.
Probably. But just in general, though, other than those things that we've already listed, the only other thing I could think of is that you got bones, and are bones spooky because you got big T-Rex bones.
It's basically a skeleton.
It's basically a skeleton.
This is just Halloween the ride.
It's Halloween the ride.
Well, shoot.
Yeah,
I guess in there.
I think I would put it at very spooky.
That's what I was thinking, because it just doesn't have that like.
It doesn't have that X factor. It doesn't have Simon
Pirates.
Cowell.
I made that joke to you.
Yes,
didn't I text
did.
that?
Yes.
I was like, it doesn't. Wait, okay. We got a quick pause. I'm scrolling back into my text conversations with Brandon. We were talking about movies, and Brandon was talking about Alien, and he gave it like an 8 out of 10 on Letterboxd, and I was like, really, an 8 out of 10? I feel like it's a 9 or a 10. And he said, yeah, I don't know, it was good, no doubt, but it didn't have that quote unquote X factor that it would elevate above an 8. And I said, I don't know what Alien has to do with Miley Cyrus judging people's mediocre singing.
Yeah, no, that was a good joke. That I didn't say this to you, but that also almost made me like lose it in a class that I was in at the time. So you did your part.
I'm glad. That was one of my favorites. It was a good.
It's a good bit. It's a good bit.
All right, the next one, Country Bear Jamboree, is the most spooky S tier, right? Like, I hope this is the one that you thought you would have to make your case to.
No, actually.
Oh, really? Horrifying. This.
I think it is spooky, but I only think it goes in very spooky.
Huh.
Well, okay, so my reasoning being bears are terrifying.
Yes.
Blood on the Saddle is a terrifying song.
Oh,
yeah, like
saddle.
you're saying about blood on a saddle to to an audience of children. I mean, it's kind of
terrifying.
But they are bears, and although they're creepy bears, they're furry animal bears, and furry animal bears can be cute. True. Not all of these are, but some of them are. Like the triplets, the ones that sing, they're kind of cute.
Yeah, and like the one on the swing's kind of cute too.
Yeah.
But they all have this. I don't know, man. When I get genuinely like kind of freaked out by something, I know I am so freaked out because of like I start to like kind of like laugh, but it's like an anxious laugh. And when I saw this for the first time, I remember like Andrew Brandenburg like saying, "Oh, you're in for such a treat." And then we went and saw it, and I kept turning to him and just like kind of like, ha, 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 like, oh my God. Like when it's like Big Al and the thing, like he's singing and then it like fades to black and he like kind of has this creepy laugh at the end. It's terrifying.
Yeah. No, it's a little creepy.
I guess I can cave. Yeah, very spooky because
I just don't think it has the X factor, you know?
It isn't conventionally like spooky. Like,
yes.
It's definitely, you have to make the stretch of like, okay, it's a goofy thing and it's just it's not the actual content of the attraction that makes it spooky. It's more like how dated it is and how like just like weird it is.
Exactly.
And from that standpoint, it's not like Pirates, where Pirates is actually trying to be a little spooky at times. So, okay, I guess I talked myself down to an A tier, which is still pretty high though. Like
it's very spooky.
Country Bears ain't for the faint of heart. Let me tell you that.
Alrighty, Splash Mountain, rounding out Frontierland. What you think?
So, I don't think of this initially as spooky until you get to like the third act, which Splash Mountain. I mean, obviously we're gonna be losing it
into acts.
Yeah, it's a brilliant attraction from that composition standpoint. But that third act, especially when you go down and it's dark and like the first splash, and then things kind of get weird, even when it's like things speed up a little bit and they're not like bad yet, but there's like that.
It's like the cave is kind of drowning.
Yeah.
And there's like the animals being like kids. I don't. Yeah. But it's like the bunny lady, I think. But yeah, there's all different. It's kind of spooky down there. Yeah. And then you get to the vultures. And dare I say, that might be like one of like the spookiest things to me currently, like to 20-year-old me in Walt Disney World. It's those vultures, because I think they're kind of spooky.
I agree. That whole buildup of like going up the lift hill and seeing that and then seeing the projection of Briar Rabbit and the whole, it's just like a very like, oh no, like the build of it. It's like, so that part of the ride and that ride in general is trying to scare you a little bit. It's trying to spook you. Even think like this is Disneyland's version technically, but like me being afraid of no seatbelts. Part of that's another good story for when we tell our fears of Disney. It's very good. But short story is like those log flumes don't have seatbelts, and I didn't know about that at the time. And I was freaked out about it, but I was especially freaked out because you're going up the lift hill and it's like, oh my God, the build is like, so like, we're going to go down this. Am I going to make it?
It's a good build of tension.
It is intentionally spooky, like Pirates. Is there any reason we shouldn't put it in S tier?
I wasn't thinking of putting it in an S tier because so much of it, whereas like Pirates, it keeps a constant tone of kind of eerie. You start out with this attraction and you end with this attraction in the highest of highs. You are just absolutely enjoying and loving life in those scenes. And so I would say, because those scenes are so cheery, I would say you're putting it also in very spooky.
Okay, that's the first one where I'm like...
You disagreeing?
I disagree from the remarks about Pirates where it's like it keeps it consistently spooky, because when you're singing Yo-Ho, it's like even when the thing's burning, you're having fun. Jack Sparrow's...
No, but I think the air around you is still kind of creepy. I mean, you have Jack Sparrow hiding.
Yeah, but like at the end, he's like...
Open.
But at the end, when he's like chilling in his little treasure room or whatever, like that's kind of the equivalent of... There's still skulls
over there.
Okay, yeah,
and you just passed people in a jail cell.
Okay.
I'm just thinking.
Oh, yeah. Hey, that's fair enough. Very spooky.
Okay.
Very spooky.
It's going in
you
very
put Country
spooky.
Bear.
Yes,
put Country
I
Bear
saw
twice.
it. Don't correct me.
You messed up.
But I would like to make this point that we just finished. You threw me off. We just finished Frontierland, and I think it shows that not all lands are built equally. Like Adventureland, where it's very, very split. Guess what we just did? If you just were paying attention, we put them all of Frontierland in very spooky.
The Wild West was spooky back in the day.
I mean, you aren't wrong.
You're gonna get dysentery.
You get all the Oregon Trail diseases.
Exactly. It was a bad time out there, and I think the attractions reflect it. You're correct. There is very much a reason for that aforementioned role of spooky consultant for Imagineering that you want. Whatever you called it. I think Frontierland would be one of your first tasks, is make it a little, maybe if Coco ever gets expanded behind it, that could help.
That's not going to be part of Frontier, even though it would make sense.
Yeah.
Or not wouldn't make sense, but it would work. Yeah.
Okay.
You know my rant.
I know what you're saying. Okay. So now we're moving on to Liberty Square. It has 3 attractions. And I think one is a pretty obvious, it's like, we'll get to it in a minute, but first we gotta
No. We're not getting into it in a minute. Hall of Presidents, very spooky.
Oh, you thought I was talking about Hall of Presidents? Oh.
No, I mean, no.
Wait, I was talking about Haunted Mansion.
I know, but I'm genuinely talking about Hall of Presidents.
Oh, okay.
Going up in the very spooky range.
Okay. In the very spooky range for Hall of Presidents.
It's either very spooky or most spooky. That was going to be my pitch to put it in most spooky.
Very boring. I think there's a lot of funny political jokes from either party to be made of.
No, that's not even part of it.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That was going to be hey guys, Andrew here to explain the meme. I was going to say well, if you're this party, it's super scary. It's super spooky because so-and-so's here.
You can do funny political bits.
Yeah, exactly. No matter what.
I'm not here to do that.
Okay. What are you?
I'm here to make 2 points. 1 point. The animatronics, when you are doing older, even newer, human-looking animatronics that are supposed to look realistic, they will inherently look creepy. Like, very creepy. I mean, we've seen it in the past 6 years with 2 very creepy animatronics. Even modern technology, they're creepy. They're a little spooky. True. And even the older ones, they move a little archaically and it doesn't look good. But then you also happen to have the film that is played after it. And that film has war footage in it. It's not graphic war footage, but it's footage with cannons going off and things. And those are loud noises. And I think that's kind of spooky. And then I guess I have a third point. It's scarily long. Yeah, that was bad, but
nice. Well, I was just looking up. I will say it's pretty terrifying because I just wanted to see what Grover Cleveland looked like, and they massacred my boy. Oh man,
my boy.
He's looking a little rough. He's not at all like how he looks. Yeah. Who's this guy? I do not know my presidents like I should. Actually no.
Why should you know your president?
Yeah, exactly.
Who
Sorry.
Really does care?
Like aside from like the important ones, like
the modern ones, and then also the ones that are known
George
in the
Washington.
past.
Oh God, John Adams. Okay, they're all pretty
they're all creepy.
Thomas Jefferson looks pretty good, I'd say.
I mean,
James Madison looks like his face is like melting.
Oh yeah. James Madison doesn't look good. Yeah, but that's kind of the spiel, is that pretty much none of them actually look that good. I mean,
John Quincy Adams looks like a supervillain.
I have no reference for that one, but probably this is like completely divorced from any like politics stuff. But genuinely, I think the best looking animatronic in the entire of like Hall of Presidents to me is either Abe Lincoln, because that he's been so like
he was the second iteration
in a way. Yeah. Or the other one, Barack, Mr. Obama. Obama. Genuinely, like I think his
was that a was that a joke?
Yes.
Was that a reference to like the Obama memes? Like him having one name. Oh my god. Was this 2015? Like
I had to do it.
Yeah.
No, but I genuinely think his actually looks okay.
Okay. Yeah, no, his looks really good. One, I got two things. Who the hell is Martin Van Buren? Apparently he was president from 1837 to 1841.
Let me guess number.
I don't have a number, unfortunately.
What?
I don't have a number, but I'll look it up.
Look it up. I'm gonna guess.
I got it.
21.
No, that's too late.
No?
He was sooner than that. Yeah.
14? No, Abe Lincoln was 14, right?
No, I don't know about that.
That doesn't even make sense.
Earlier than 14.
Oh, he's like,
yeah, one more guess. What?
8?
Yeah, he was the 8th
ding,
president.
Ding, ding, big
there
winner.
There you go. You won a Kia Sorento. Congratulations.
Congrats. Other point. What's your other point?
Just like he looks disgusting.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, as you do.
He has like hair only growing on like his facial. Honestly, kind
Andrew,
of sick
don't make
facial
fun
hair.
of the balding.
I'm not making. It's not.
Don't make fun of the balding.
Sorry, I'm not.
Don't make fun of the bald population. It's not cool.
I'm trying. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Oh, remember the flashback to the first episode when we said like it was our mission to like cancel each other in this podcast? You're doing great right now. You really got me.
Fantastic.
Yeah. He looks like a Star Wars character. Like
that is the best like insult that you can give to a person, because like you might not be saying that they look like an alien, but you also definitely are.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so he's there. What were we? We gotta get back on track. I got an X out of Grover Cleveland. All right,
GroverCleveland.com.
Grover Cleveland.
No, yeah, I think we're going.
I gotta go
very spooky.
I gotta say spooky. That's
spooky.
We already got 3 in the because it's
I'll
not
call your hard line.
It's more of a snooze fest. Like it's a little boring.
Okay.
Like what? You can't be scared if you're asleep. Well, you definitely can. That's called a nightmare.
I was like, the nightmares exist.
Oh man,
suns exists.
That's good. Okay,
yeah.
Next.
Okay, now on
the next one. Yeah.
Iconic. The maybe a little less spooky attraction. The Haunted Mansion.
A little less. No,
little less.
Okay, but in reality, like,
I don't think there's much to be said here. Honestly, in reality.
Yeah, it's like this is an S tier, right? Like as far as what we're going, it sets out to be what? If Pirates is in it, it has to
joking, Andrew.
Oh, okay, good. Sorry, I was getting I was getting defensive.
But no, yeah, I
was about to throw hands.
It goes in most spooky. Not even up for debate. I just call President's there again. It's fine.
Yeah, what more can you say about it? Really?
S tier, Haunted Mansion.
The whole purpose of the attraction is to be like, granted, it is lighthearted and fun at points, but it keeps a consistent, whether it's fun spooky or genuinely creepy spooky. It does that. It's one of the best, if not the best, like haunted attractions ever made.
Tis pretty good.
Yeah. All right, and then we have the
spookiness.
Liberty Square
Riverboat. Jump over it though, because why talk about it?
Fair enough. What are we putting it in? Not spooky?
Oh, I was talking about Haunted Mansion.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Because we spent so much time on the other ones, and the most iconically spooky we're just going to skip over because...
That's smart. Yeah.
Okay. Liberty Riverboat. I think not spooky.
Yeah.
I mean, you could make the same ploy that you made for the WDW Railroad, like with the scene...
Yeah,
but because we think that scene isn't there,
and even if it was, it's like we also talked about the loud noise, and I guess there's like the only other thing I could say is you do go pretty close to the Haunted Mansion. So if you're true. I know,
put it in an E.
Actually, wait a minute. Yeah, that's good. That's a good point because I know for a fact if I would have ridden it as a kid, like before I rode Haunted Mansion and like understood that it wasn't super scary, like I would have been. It's just that mental thing of like I don't want to even go near it. Like that's how I always was as a kid. And if I would have ridden that and like seen it, I definitely would have been like, oh God, like no, I don't want to like sit on that side of the boat. So yeah, definitely an E category because it's next to it enough to be.
I mean, it could be, but probably not.
Yeah,
what a category name.
That's a good.
What a category name.
That's so many words. Dumbo. This is the anti-spooky ride. Like really, like
it's the anti-spooky ride.
I can't even think of it's spooky. I guess that you got to walk all the way to the back of the park, and it's kind of like vague. Like I
guess how you could make that bit.
Like, that's a bit though. At the end of the day, it's just a bit.
Exactly.
God, so, the name of my memoir.
Yeah. What a memoir. But yeah, Dumbo. It's going in not spooky.
Yeah, that's our first F tier.
Which is surprising, but honestly not because we just went through 3 lands that are known a little bit for being a little bit more spooky. So, and this is fantasy, so, you know.
Oh yeah, Fantasyland, and I guess it's Storybook Circus, but that's the only land that I didn't like separate.
I don't even. Yeah, it is part of Fantasyland.
Yeah, it's a subland.
Yeah,
with a better name than Frozen Kingdom. Dab
on them haters in 2022.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Have you ever done Enchanted Tales with Belle? That's our next one.
I haven't.
I have not either. Can we not comment on this?
I think we could put it in. I think we omit it from the list.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think we have the knowledge to properly prescribe this attraction a tier.
We can't properly. Jesus, I can't talk. We can't properly assess the spookiness levels of Enchanted Tales with Belle.
We just can't. So sad.
Sad. I know you all were waiting to hear that. I guess you'll just have to wait. We'll do an updated list eventually.
Yeah, no, we do like a J tier, or no, we do a Z tier of not known.
Mm-hmm. Unknown spooky. All right, Unknown. Small World. This is pretty scary.
You see, I assumed
it's
you were
psychological horror. It's psychological horror.
You were going to say this, but I don't think it deserves to go in. Definitely not the most spooky.
Okay,
and then I don't think it deserves to go in very spooky either.
Why not?
I think it deserves to go in spooky. Yes, there is the whole thing of it's just being repeated, and this is like the whole joke is that you can edit like video of the attraction to look like a horror movie and be like super eerie and everything. Yes, you can do that. And the Kingdom Keepers has also put in my mind that this attraction is inherently spooky. Shout out to those books.
True.
But the thing is that the entire visual language and aesthetic of the actual attraction while you are in it without any color correction, it's just via those corneas that you got via
shout
your
out to
retinas.
Corneas.
No, I mean, RGCs. Let's shout out. But I think it doesn't look spooky at all inside. I think the entire vibe that you're getting there, that's not from the visual, but like from the constant singing and everything, and it's children is just repeating, droning on, and it's slow. I think that's creepy. It's a little creepy.
You're
but
saying
I don't think
that
any of the visual language makes it spooky at all.
Okay, I could actually agree with that. It's almost like the spookiness is left to the imagination, and
it's a bias via the rider. It is not an inherent spookiness of the attraction.
Okay, that's fair.
Did I make that sound intellectual enough?
You made that sound like I was. I thought I was in like a college
seminar
lecture.
Ooh.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that was good. No, I see that spooky B tier.
Spooky.
Yeah, okay. I agree. That's actually a very good point. I like that.
Okay.
Mad Tea Party.
Mad.
It's mad. It's not spooky tea party. It's Mad Tea Party.
But at the same time, I think this deserves to go in somewhat spooky for a couple of reasons. I think one, spinning is spooky.
It's disorienting.
Spinning causes people. It's disorienting. It causes people to have problems. Sometimes
it makes me flow up.
If you have the if a child sees someone coming off that ride having a little tummy problem, that's pretty spooky to them. They're like, "What is this thing going to do to me?"
Remember when we rode the teacups at Six Flags Great America with Drake and Soren? Except I didn't ride, and I just sat there and ate my Dippin' Dots because I didn't want to feel sick.
Yep, Tabasco, the ride.
That was like a year ago.
Yes.
God, I swear I'm a theme park enthusiast and can do intense rides, guys.
The only other point I would make to make it into the somewhat spooky thing for me is, well, yeah, I'll just make this point, is this is seasonal. But for the Halloween parties in the past, and I don't even know if it's Christmas parties, but also the villain party that I've been thankful enough to do, they have a very cool lighting package for it, but it's chaotic lighting package for it. And it's once again more disorienting. And I think one more disorienting things, even though they're fun colors, more disorienting does mean a little bit more spooky for a lot of people.
I did not know they did that, but I think just because of that, that's enough to convince me that it can go in somewhat spooky. Because if they do their own like sort of layover for it, even if it's just a lighting thing, you know, that they're trying enough to, you know, make it somewhat spooky.
It makes it frenetic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good word.
Okay.
You win word of the day. Guess what? You win a Kia Sorento.
How many Kia Sorentos will we give away on this podcast?
So far, we're at 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Got to put like a disclaimer in the thing. Limitless Park will not actually give away any Kia Sorentos,
even though it's literally just you to me. But
yeah, exactly. Hey. But I just need to have my.
You have it covered in the writing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Philhar Magic.
Philhar Magic.
Some pretty trashy 3D. That's pretty spooky, I guess.
No, well, I mean they updated it.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, because they redid it all.
And added.
I would say. I don't know. I would say not really that spooky.
I honestly don't. You're gonna have to like maybe make the call on this because I don't really remember it. It's been a long time since I've done it, and I just like I can't remember what happens in it.
So my main point for it to be not really that spooky and like above to be in the D tier. My main pitch is it's a show that uses a screen, so theater has to be dark. And darkness is a running theme of a thing that I find spooky. I promise I'm not scared of the dark anymore, but who cares, even if I was. But,
hey, man, I wasn't asking.
Yeah. I have to explain it. No, but my other aspect of it that I think is kind of spooky is, you know, the bump, the bucket song. Yeah. The Phantasmic Bucket song.
Yeah, yep.
I think that song, I mean, maybe this is just a me thing, but I think the song with these sentient buckets and mops, I think that is inherently a thing that is associated with mischief because of that song and the scene it's thing. And I think mischief sometimes can be a little spooky.
It can be. That's literally the premise of Hereditary. He's like the god of mischief. I mean, he takes over. You got to watch that movie.
Yeah.
What's the Venn diagram between Hereditary and Mickey's Philhar Magic?
Yes. But I don't really think it's really a toss up here. Do you want to put it in? I mean, it could be, but probably not, or not really that spooky. I'm good with either. It's fine. I'll make the decision.
You make the call. I can't. I like your points.
I will put it in. I mean, it could be because it could be to some people. You know, if you have that association with that music, so on. You know,
I guess it was a little bit hard. Like you had to make. It was a bit of a stretch to make a case. So from that standpoint, it makes sense to put it in.
Exactly.
I mean, it could be.
Exactly.
Probably not.
I had to make a case.
Yeah.
Peter Pan
picked a pen of people being spooky.
Peter Pan.
I don't know what that was. Sorry. We're getting to it's like 2 hours into the podcast about. So
yeah, it's gonna be another long one.
Starting to get a little loopy. Maybe let's like we'll do the rest of Fantasyland and we'll kind of speed run because there's not that many in.
No, yeah, there is. Let's just speed run the rest unless we have something to really talk about, which there is still one that I still have a lot to talk about with.
That's fine. Peter Pan. It's in the dark and like I guess like the fight between Captain Hook is kind of scary.
And you have the TikTok croc and it looks like it's going to eat you. You're flying down into it. But I don't think it's really that spooky. So I think we put it in D? Not really that spooky. Yeah. Yep. I think we put it in D tier.
I agree.
I copied a space and not the Peter Pan.
Hey, it's all good.
It happens.
Prince Charming Regal Carousel. I will now step on my pedestal and explain why I think this is in the S tier.
Okay.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
I think
it's not spooky.
Yeah, it's not spooky. It's a carousel, guys.
Yeah, unless
you have carousel phobia.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Some people associate carousels with carnivals and carnivals with clowns and clowns with spooky. So, you have that thing there.
That's a stretch, though. Like
that's a very big stretch. And It's not even a stretch that I'm willing to make enough to where I could put it in it could be.
Yeah, there's no clowns in Magic Kingdom.
No clowns in Magic Kingdom, except for when there was with Mickey's Birthday Land.
Oh, that's for the podcast hosts in the 70s and 80s.
Exactly. They loved their podcasts back then. Oh, exactly. Can you imagine listening to a podcast in the 70s?
I can't. They didn't exist.
No, they did.
It was just called radio.
Exactly. Okay. Seven dwarves.
I do think there's like the smallest semblance of a jump scare when you get to the end and you're seeing the cottage and then you see the witch as you're moving. It's like, oh, I didn't expect that. And for that, it's definitely not F, and I don't think it's E tier. And it's because it's a coaster. I think
you put it in C.
Yeah, somewhat spooky. Yep.
I'm not going to make the hardest pitch, but seeing the company there that it's surrounded by being Tiki Room and Mad Tea Party, I think it's in good company there.
Yeah, exactly. God, that's funny.
I think it's in good company. Room.
Barnstormer. I will say going off, man, we're going to have so many stories for that episode. For some reason, when I was really little, I thought the Barnstormer went upside down. Like I saw this picture of it going through the barn, and somehow
the old version of it.
Yeah, and I think
I don't think I've ever ridden the old version of it. I think I only have ever ridden the
me neither. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, but I always thought it was I swear somebody told me it went upside down in the barn, and then I would not do it because I was scared of everything. But that said, it's just I don't know.
With the new one, my only it's a roller coaster. So kind of a little spooky. My only other thing, I have two other points, is you're going through a billboard. I mean, it's cut out, obviously, but that's kind of spooky to be running into a billboard.
Yeah, some people die from that. You're lucky. You're just, it's just a coaster and not real at all.
Prefabricated attraction.
You ever seen that part in Deadpool where he sends the guy flying and he smashes into the billboard?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say
grotesque.
No. Yeah. That is grotesque.
Yep.
Then my only other point is in the queue, there's a target thing that's I don't know if it's supposed to spin around, but it's a target thing and it has knives in it. Because they throw knives onto it. I think this is a thing.
Violence.
I don't think this is a thing of my imagination. But knives can be kind of spooky. So if that's real, I think we put it in not really.
You think? I was thinking more towards E tier, but I guess then when I'm looking at it, it's the coaster's a good point. Yeah, not really that spooky because
I think it's a little bit more inherently spooky than the Liberty Square riverboat.
Yeah, if we put it in E, we're putting it with the railroad, which is literally just a train on a track.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So Barnstormer, not really that spooky. D tier. Winnie the Pooh.
I mean, it's got to be up there, right?
It's up there.
Heffalumps and Woozles.
Even though I love it, it's it is pretty creepy. And there's the whole thing where the entire 100-acre woods is flooded and everything.
And getting blown away.
Yeah.
Because of the wind. It's intense.
I think we put it in B for spooky.
Yeah, I agree because
spooky.
Because it's not very spooky. I think the thing that is, and this is just a general complaint of Winnie the Pooh, but it's just a short ride that it doesn't have the chance to go like more than spooky. It's spooky, True. But before you have that thing where, okay, like you're sitting in the car and you're like, before you turn to your friend and say, hey, I think this could be very spooky, the ride is over. So, you're just thinking, hey, this is spooky. And that's an actual thing that people say in the ride.
I love those people. Those people are my favorite. Those people
are great. Yeah. Good people.
Alrighty.
Spooky. That makes sense.
Spooky.
Last one of Fantasyland. It's Little Mermaid.
I guess.
This is just a nice ride. The only thing that's scary is like Ursula.
It's the Ursula part.
And Flotsam and Jetsam.
I do genuinely think that does put it up there. But and I think also though the aspect of you're supposed to be underwater and there's the transitionary scene where you do like go underwater and that could spook some people out. Be like, I'm drowning. I mean, you won't think that because most likely
people are afraid to swim. You ever seen Jaws? There's no shark in it. Well, are there sharks in this?
No, I don't know. But I don't know. I don't think it goes up there with a Winnie the Pooh in spooky, but I think somewhat spooky.
Somewhat, yeah.
It's either somewhat or not really.
No, I think you could make the case that, well...
I think the Ursula scene is spooky enough to put it in the somewhat spooky because, like, similar to the Seven Dwarves, you have the aspect of that being like a roller coaster plus the jump scare. But if it wasn't a roller coaster and was just a slow ride in the same kind of thing, plus only a little bit of a witch jump scare, I think I think Seven Dwarfs would be bumped down to not really that spooky, but because it's a dark ride and it's a prolonged scene, I think then that pushes Little Mermaid up to somewhat spooky.
Okay. That's fair.
Okay. We're going with somewhat spooky for
somewhat spooky.
Little
That's
Mermaid.
The C tier, everybody. All right. we're fighting along. We have one more land, 7 more attractions. This is Tomorrowland. You want to kick us off?
Astro Orbiter.
Astro Orbiter.
I'm honestly putting it up there.
It is up there.
Not to the highest of the highs,
but
not
because
to the
it tilts.
Most spooky. Because it tilts, and other thing, you have to take an elevator up.
Yeah,
up there. Some people aren't about elevators.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, have we learned nothing from Tower of Terror?
I just watched the original Annabelle recently, and there's a scene where the main character keeps trying to go up on an elevator, and she can't leave the floor. It just keeps staying at that, and that's traumatizing. There's a horror movie called Devil that takes place all in an elevator. Scary. You don't want to get trapped. Like you said, Tower of Terror.
I mean, I wasn't even going all that way. Some people don't like elevators.
Well, don't worry, Brandon. I did.
And also, but yeah, you're up high. It tilts. I don't know, man.
It's spooky. It's not very spooky, but it's spooky.
I'm thinking spooky.
Yeah.
Spooky.
You want to go? You want to have a spooky time at Walt Disney World? You can ride the Astro Orbiter, and
you can do that.
You could be a little.
It's a choice. It's a choice.
It's a choice. I mean, don't go ride it.
It's not like your highest thing if you want something spooky, but it's a choice.
It's
not a terrible
fine.
choice.
If you can get the Disney genie for it, go do it.
Yeah.
Oh boy, Buzz Lightyear, yet another ride that I would not ride as a kid. And is such a good story.
Really?
Talk about. Oh my God! I was so scared of that one tunnel.
Oh God! I was going to make my pitch for not really, or even I mean it could be.
Okay, now I think we're when I say those
You're
things
just
about,
the story
I'm just saying
from
yeah, exactly. But yeah, generally speaking, it's not scary now. Zurg is a little freaky though. I will say.
I mean, sure. I'm a big robot guy.
Not really that spooky.
I don't know. It's in the dark, but yeah, I think not really that spooky because there are parts of it like all the neon monsters and everything that could be considered maybe a little spooky. Mm-hmm. And it's in the dark, but nothing else is really putting it up there. So not really that spooky is where we're putting Buzz Lightyear, Space Ranger.
Yes, sir. And now we have Monsters Inc., which this is another one now that I'm thinking about it that I've never done, I don't think. Have you ever done this? I have done
it. And I'm going to make a crusade. So this will be 100% biased. But I tried my hardest to put, like, Hall of Presidents was my Hail Mary of trying to get that into S tier. Mm-hmm. Like, that was like my one where I was like, God, this one deserves to be up there. It ended up in B, so we saw how that went. Yeah. I'm trying to only put Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor in either very spooky or spooky. I think very spooky, though, for two reasons. One, has monsters. Yeah. Ooh, spooky. I mean, they're Monsters Inc. monsters, so they're cute. And
that's the premise of the movie initially, though. Love. They're supposed to scare. They're scaring the audience or the people to get the screams. The actually scary aspect of it is the building anxiety one gets when they're in that show. If you do not like audience participation, it's terrifying. It is inherently terrifying to a person that does not like to be like called on, especially in a room full of strangers. Like if you're in a room full of people, like in a class that you've been in for a while now, but it's still like 100 people or whatever, that's scary, but it's not like terrifying because you've been in that thing for a while now. You might know some people around you or whatever. This, you might know your party, but the rest of the people are people from around the globe that you might have some things in common with, but you don't know what, and also you don't know. And because it's inherently a comedy show, they might try to make fun of you, and you don't want that anxiety in your head. No way.
You don't want that. That's my pitch, man.
Hey, I can't comment. So I think that, social anxiety it can be a real booger.
I genuinely, I mean, you don't like being, I don't mind it, but I don't think a lot of people like being made fun of in front of people and having jokes being told, even if they're very harmless. But, you just never know what could be said. And that's why I'm making it fully go in to A tier. Very spooky.
It's another psychological horror type thing.
It's a psychological horror attraction.
The Monsters Inc. brings out the spookiness and the fear of not being good enough.
No.
What?
The attraction name?
Oh, no. That's almost as good as ass.
Yeah, it's almost as good as ass.
Nice.
That's alien swirling saucers.
Yeah, we gotta throw that out.
Inc. Laugh Floor.
Exactly.
For the people. That's all we're saying. They're the greatest names of
can't have that
attractions.
Can't have that explicit tag on here.
Yep.
All right, We're down to 4 left. Space Mountain. That's the ride out of all the rides at Magic Kingdom where I feel like the most, like the highest chance that I'm going to die. So like, I think from that, it should that go in very spooky. Very spooky.
It's either very spooky or spooky because it's in the dark. It's a roller coaster. It's a little bit of a rickety roller coaster. There's a lot of misses, even though it's in the dark. And the queue is all dark too, even though the queue is beautiful. I mean, Star Tunnel music. Oh, come on. But
Yeah. No, I think it's very spooky.
Very spooky. Putting in very spooky.
Yeah, that's Space Mountain, everyone. Space Mountain's scary. You just did Monsters Inc. again.
I know.
Who put you in charge of this?
Who put me in charge?
Oh my God. Oh my God, I didn't realize we had Satan in the podcast.
You're the demon? No, I mean, you gotta
special guest star.
Watch Smiley and Friends, but my actual Satan voice, if I did that version of Satan, is wonderful.
Great. No, our podcast show. It's great. Is satanic. All right, no more Space Mountain. Speedway. Spooky that it still exists.
The gas station, Speedway.
Yeah. I mean, I love that smell, but I probably shouldn't. It's nothing, right? This is nothing. Speedway is nothing. It's nothing.
I think the only pitch that could be made for that, it could be, is noise and smell. And the smell is just knowing that it's killing our planet. And that inherently is so spooky.
Exactly.
It's not a bit people. Yeah, it's real.
I guess if we made the point of the railroad, but like,
exactly.
But no, but is that really? That's good enough to put it in E tier. I mean, it could be, but probably not.
Yeah,
if we put the railroad in,
because it could be,
but probably not.
Probably not.
It's boring. It's Speedway the worst ride there. Like, I think so.
I think so.
That or Aladdin.
I don't think there's any group, I was going to say, I don't think there's any group is particularly gaining from it. I mean, there could be children, and I was going to say, you said Aladdin. I was like, children also gain from Aladdin being there because it's a Dumbo clone and they just want that type of a ride. But I don't know. Yeah, it's like that and Aladdin are the least inherently good attraction, or at least, I don't know how to put it, but they serve the smallest audience. They get the least done. For the park. Okay, Tomorrowland Transit Authority, the People Mover.
I love the People Mover. It's maybe my favorite attraction here, unironically, but like there's nothing about it that's scary except like going into Space Mountain.
I was gonna say going into Space Mountain is.
Yeah, but that's like
because it's dark and you hear people screaming on the roller coaster.
Actually, right.
I think it's, and I mean it could be.
I think. Yeah,
it's either that or it's not really that spooky because it has enough aspects to it. Because
when I do think,
and you see into Buzz, and if you're scared of those little robots and everything, you get that aspect of it. You get a weird sentient voice talking to you. You get the hair salon lady with a weird looking cutout thing.
So here's my point: Space Mountain is in the very spooky A tier right now. Mm-hmm. What what fraction? What fraction of duration is the is?
I think we put it in D. I think we put it in not really that spooky.
I agree because you get some Space Mountain, and if that's an A tier, then a little bit of it, maybe like there's like a fifth of the ride takes place in there. So like that makes sense. I think
it's up there.
My calculations that I didn't do.
Okay.
All right. The last ride.
Last one.
Last attraction.
Carousel of Progress.
Yes.
What a good attraction.
Fantastic attraction. But
when you put in all the theories of what's going on in there.
Oh, like they don't age.
Bit. Yeah. I mean, the vampire theory and that kind of thing. The deal with the devil that John Progress made to see all of the progress. It's a great thing.
That goes into that speculation though that we talked about.
Well, exactly. And that's the thing is it's not inherent, but it's any of the actual spooky side of it is posited onto the attraction by the audience.
True. Okay, but now that I see it, it's like we did put Small World, which is all just like what you just said.
Spooky.
Put it in spooky. I don't think it's quite able to go there, but when you think, I think you could make somewhat spooky.
I think honestly, it's either somewhat spooky or not really that spooky. I don't think it's it could be because there's enough of a positing via the audience, but I don't think it's on the level of even a Tiki Room or a Mad Tea Party. I think it is more on the level of a Mad Carpets, a Peter Pan. Yeah. Because the positing, even on the side of the audience, is not that strong. And it's this little kind of fun little theory thing. It's not like this is just inherently creepy if you catch a vibe a certain way.
Okay. So that's fair. That's not really that spooky.
And not really that spooky for Carousel of Progress. D tier. Rounding it out.
And that's it, guys.
Do you want to read through them?
I was thinking we should. Do you want to alternate tiers?
Sure.
You want to go first?
Alrighty. The most spooky tier, the S tier, shall we say. We got Pirates of the Caribbean and Haunted Mansion.
I think those are great picks. So I think that's a very, exclusive part of the list, and
it's a very exclusive part, but it's a very understandable part of the list. Like you have nothing. No one's taken off guard by our choices there or anything.
Right. Those are reliable. If you want to go to Magic Kingdom and have a spooky time, you get on those two attractions. And I think, that's perfect. That's all you got to do. But if you have a little bit more time, here's what we'd say is, very spooky. It's not the most spooky, but it's the A tier. It's very spooky. We have Big Thunder Mountain, Country Bear Jamboree, Splash Mountain, Monsters Inc., and Space Mountain. A lot of those are for different reasons, but
you got a Frontierland, Tomorrowland split, you know?
You can really stay mostly on the left side of the park, with the exception of the last two, and get a very spooky experience.
Is the future really scary? I mean, come on. It's like we have two attractions up there, but one of them isn't even inherently futuristic. So
exactly,
you know. Okay, spooky. The B tier, just blatantly spooky. Got Jungle Cruise, Hall of Presidents, Small World, Winnie the Pooh, and Astro Orbiter. I don't think that's a bad group. I think it's an understandable group. They all have their reasons to be there.
Right. Somewhat spooky. We have Tiki Room, Mad Tea Party, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and Little Mermaid.
And then we got not really that spooky. Magic Carpets, Peter Pan, Barnstormer, Buzz Lightyear, the Tomorrowland Transit Authority, and Carousel of Progress.
This is the one that we have the most, correct? Because it was like S tier was 2, A was 5, spooky, like B was 5, C was only 4, and then this one, 6 in the D tier. So there are quite a few things and attractions that aren't that are not really that spooky at Magic Kingdom. Yeah. I think that's what we can conclude from our research.
Mode is the mode.
Mm-hmm. And then my personal favorite name of the categories, I mean, it could be, but probably not, is our E category. And that's Walt Disney World Railroad, Liberty Square Riverboat, PhilharMagic, and the Tomorrowland Speedway.
And then coming in at not spooky at all, don't ride these if you want to have a spooky time, unless you are really, really odd. You got Dumbo and Prince Charming, Regal Carousel.
Yeah, those, you just want to avoid them in October.
Stay away.
Stay away unless you are trying to wear off like all the spookiness. Like you've had a spooky time and you need something to come down from the high.
Or you're trying to get those kiddos entertained so that you can have a spooky time sometime during your night.
Yeah, then take them over there. But otherwise, avoid them at all costs because they are not spooky. All right.
Alrighty. Well, we just spun like an entire hour and a half out of that concept that I was definitely questioning if it would be interesting going into it.
That was fun. I liked it. I'm gonna make I'll make an actual graphic before it comes out, just of some pictures of what it is, and I either post it on Instagram or include it. And I think that's a good
in the description. Yeah, it's a good list.
Yeah. I think it was a good list, a fun topic. I'm glad we did it.
Yeah,
I like tier lists.
I hope you all enjoyed.
I hope so too.
A little show, our little pastime game time idea.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I think this was long enough as it is.
It's definitely long enough.
I don't have any plugs. I think we can.
Yeah.
If you got one, plugs? Keep it short. I guess those.
I definitely will.
Those Rainforest Cafe videos. I don't know the YouTubers.
Oh yeah, the Eddie Burbank and Ted Nivison. I went to every Rainforest Cafe in the country, or in the continent. It might be, but yeah, no, those are super great videos. No, my only plug is I watched Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift recently.
Nice.
For the first time fully through. After having seen that movie in like parts the entire time. It's a fun movie. I don't understand why people hate it so much. It's a really fun movie, but maybe that's just my bias of liking Japan and Fast and Furious movies. So it's a fun movie. Go watch it. Enjoy it.
That's actually you're literally recommending to me because it's one of the two that I love that franchise, and I've only that one and Hobbs and Shaw, the spinoff, are the only two that I haven't seen. So yeah, see, I still have to do Too Fast, Too Furious, and Hobbs and Shaw. So. Okay.
I'll get around to it eventually.
Yeah, you'll get there.
All right. Alrighty, folks.
This has been an episode. It's been all the usual stuff. We're not going to preach it, but if you liked it, give us the old like. If you want to say a kind word or two, or if you want to say some mean words, who cares? I mean, at this point, just speak your heart,
speak your mind
in the reviews if you want to, and find us on Instagram. All the usual suspects. I don't really want to do this now. I don't want to do the.
You know all the things. You know all the bits. You know all the outro. Stuff.
Yeah. If you guys listening are probably technologically. Ooh, that was a bad word. you guys are savvy with the old tech that you can, if you want to leave a review, you can do that. If you want to, follow and subscribe and do all those little things,
do them.
I trust
do them
you
if you want. But if you don't,
do 'em.
okay.
Yeah, don't.
I'll get you.
Yeah,
but it's
get
okay.
ya. It's fine.
That's
no
not a
pressure.
legal statement. A legal statement would be that I'm not going to get you.
Brandon will not actually get anybody. Don't worry.
I will not get you.
He'll just say he will.
Well, folks, it's been really spooky. We'll see you next time.
Have a good Halloween.
Bum, 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 bum. Why did I just do the Wii Sports thing? I don't know.